work this mess, I'm here for it. Make testimony from tests, Lord, I'm here for it. Wanna change my whole life, Lord, I'm here for it. Make me boldly rep Christ, Lord, I'm here for it. Say you want me all in, Lord, I'm here for it.
Welcome to episode 6 of
The Royalhood.
I almost thought you forgot.
Royalhood. Is there a they or just Royalhood?
Well, we are the Royalhood. Yeah.
Okay.
So the is important.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 6 of Royalhood. My name is Ludo Fresh. Emphasize the and this is my lovely co-host.
I am Kase. Welcome back to the Royalhood.
Now today we're gonna be talking about I wanted to bully you again and say your favorite, but we're not talking about your favorites. Okay, the topic of the day is alcohol. We're going to be looking at the extremes that young people are going to.
Okay.
Alcohol as like the foundation basis of what we're talking about, but also like other things they're doing to chase highs and yeah, just the impact of this lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Because our famous slogan is YOLO.
You only live once.
Yep, as we do very toxic things that might make us die immediately afterwards. So I think as our icebreaker, we're gonna share a story from Egypt. You know, if you can flash back to your past.
Okay.
Before you found the promised land.
Take me to Egypt.
Is there anything that happened? Okay, I can share mine. Take me to Egypt first. Okay, so this story, the story I'm going to share is it could have really been worse. Okay. But thank God. God is good. So we went to, at the time, the jungle, you know.
That's Hollywood.
Yeah.
That place was litty.
Yeah, I can't say that anymore.
Is that still a thing though? Like, is it a thing?
No.
It's not?
It closed a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
All these places that used to actually be very, I think clubs have a lifespan, to be fair.
Yeah, they do.
They have a very short lifespan. When it's cutting, it's going to cut and then it's going to...
I feel like I went there when it was on decline, but it was still lit. Yeah, okay, go on.
Okay,
the
so
jungle.
We went to the jungle, right? And it was, I remember, I did not say the members I was in the car with because they might not be happy about this. But when we left, as usual, you used to go to the jungle like 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Just, you don't go there before like 1 because, it's not going to be a vibe.
Yeah.
So my friend is driving and I'm with 2 people who I won't mention, but they're both my relatives in the car, right? One is in the front seat, I'm in the back seat with a hand. There's a guy in the front seat and there's a guy driving. Okay. So he's pretty intoxicated, right? And as we're driving past, so we're coming down Great East Road, I think. So all the way, he's like hitting 140, 150, right? Unnecessarily, because like I say, I live in the jungle, the sun is coming up.
Yeah.
So it's almost morning.
So this is you guys leaving?
This is us leaving. Yeah, we've had a time. It was whatever happened in the jungle, stayed in the jungle. Now we're driving back. So he keeps speeding. And then I remember when we were approaching all these 4-ways, instead of him slowing down, he would just speed up and start hooting. So us being dramatic young people were there. Every time he passes the 4-way. Now, as we approach now, for those of you who don't know, arcades used to have an actual roundabout. There's even flowers, trees in the middle. So arcades used to have a roundabout. So we're approaching the arcades roundabout. He miscalculates because whatever it is he wanted to do, one car in front of us switched lanes. So now we switch and we're thrown into the roundabout. So us who is screaming.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I haven't told you the story. No. I was actually about to say, I don't know if I've told you before.
No.
But as we hit the roundabout, all the screaming stopped. Now all the screaming, I think it registered.
To normal now.
It registered now like, oh, this is real. So we're now passing over and there's concrete, there's rocks, there's all that stuff that used to be in there. So the first tire bursts. And I remember the first thing I thought is, the car is going to flip. And mom is going to find me in the hospital in a mini dress. I just looked at my dress and said, whoa.
Yeah,
it's over for me. I didn't even think I was dying. Maybe after my mom got there.
This is how they'll find me.
This is how they'll find me. It's wild. So as we kept going, one by one, all the tires started bursting. So when the last one burst, I was like, we're not flipping. Thank goodness. So it throws us off the roundabout just near the ditch. And then like clockwork, the guys would tow come. So yeah, we can tow your car.
Really?
And the guys
Are you guys still in the car?
were still in the car, like now a bit disoriented. Then the other guys, like you could see like some bus conductors on the side, yeah,
My ass.
they were just like, what were you
Yep.
doing? You're hitting a roundabout at 140. And I was just like, but okay, what was the plan? Because even if that person didn't swerve,
You still go
we were
over
still
it.
moving way
And
too
if you
fast.
try to turn at that speed,
So yeah,
you
that's
roll.
one of those stories that where this alcohol and how it could have gone, because he was pretty drunk. One, we
Yeah.
shouldn't have let him drive in the first place.
Okay, like, can I
I was
ask,
sober though.
how old were you?
Hey, Django. I must have been okay. So I was at accountancy college. So I was 21, 22.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 21, 22.
Okay.
So even now, like you never catch me alive. So even that question is a good question, because
Yeah.
where was I? And I could feel the danger every time we hit a
'Cause
four.
that's a very different load. I don't
Plus,
think I made that load.
plus I was sober. This is the worst thing
You were
about
sober?
it. I was sober. By the
Leave
time
the
it was
Django
by the
sober.
time it was day, it was like 6 in the morning. The alcohol had worn
Oh,
off.
okay.
There's no way you're drinking the whole night until 6 in the morning. So I was sober now. And
Okay.
I was like, I shouldn't have.
I don't think I have.
But I'm happy I survived.
No, we're happy you
And
survived.
we're happy the roundabout has changed. Doesn't look the same no more.
No.
The memories are gone. Oh, then we had to get into a bus at 6 in the morning
How was the
in
driver
mini
though?
dresses.
No one was injured.
No, the driver was perfectly fine.
No
And he was
injuries,
so,
nothing.
like, the moment that happened, he got so sober. He was so
You sober up
unapologetic.
like that.
He was just like, I'm so sorry, I could have killed you guys. I'm like, no kidding. He's like, does anyone have extra money for me to get extra tires? Like, what?
What? Who told you to do 140?
Bounce. But yeah, we laugh about it now. We
Ouch.
still like,
That's
we
scary.
still talk once in a while, especially when he sees me showing people how to cross a roundabout. I like putting those.
Yeah, you and roundabouts are tricky. Okay. I don't think I have one that I can remember off the top of my head where I came that close. But I have been drunk enough where I've made silly decisions, and later on I'm like, nah. Mostly it's money. Got so drunk. Imagine you leave work and you've got, say, like 3,000 kwacha in your wallet, and you just start drinking. Spend 500 kwacha, it's nothing. By the time Sunday comes along, find up 200 kwacha. So that memory like freaks me out. It's like, what did I do with that money? Like, where did it go?
Unfortunately, I can remember those such
So
incidents.
I feel like for me, that's what pains me the most about this alcohol thing. It was that, but I know of people who have like taken way too much, and they've like seen death, like it's flashed before their eyes. I know family that have gone through that. I know friends. So yeah, alcohol and heavy machinery,
They don't go together.
They don't go together. Keep those things apart. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess you're lucky that you don't have a.
Not as scary as that.
I don't think I think that's the only like.
Okay, but even
death.
why I asked how old you were was because I started drinking really late.
Okay.
And it's something I even pushed my brothers to do. And anyone I can have like influence over or tower over, I've always said, start late. Like if you're going to drink ever, do it late. Like when you're
What's
older.
your definition of really late?
I feel like when your brain can reason better.
That's what I'm saying. For you, okay, for you, what was your really late?
For me, I think I took my first beer when after 25.
Okay.
25, late 20s.
So at least you felt like you were in control. Like if something happens, I know what I'm
Even
doing.
then, I was reckless. I just looked at the 3 pin in a day. And I know this is nothing to some people, but it's a lot of money to me. It was a lot of money. It still is. So it's that thinking for me. Like when you can just reason at that level, yeah, maybe you can start drinking. And even then, you start small. You just don't go from 0 to 100. Like, it will mess you up.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out some stats, right? Now, the statistics focused on a specific thing because, as usual, it's so hard to pull out data about Africa, right? So here, I was reading about the global consumption rate. I pulled out some stats between 2017 and 2021. So global consumption of alcoholic beverages amounted to approximately 235.4 billion liters in 2017, and it was expected to reach 244.62 billion liters by 2021.
Wow.
39.7% of people ages 12 to 20 admit to having had alcohol before. I feel like, this age, 12.
12.
Why we're even starting from 12 is scary. And the harmful use of alcohol worldwide leads to 3 million deaths every year.
Every year.
Now, this 3 million deaths is maybe directly, like if you get drunk, you have a car accident,
Yes.
right? Or anything related to it. So you have an illness that's caused by alcohol
Like a
drinking.
liver disease.
Yes, eventually. So anything that initially starts from the abuse of alcohol and leads to your death, 3 million
Ouch.
every year.
Every year.
Every single year. That's how many people are
Alcohol
losing
is,
worldwide.
okay, alcohol is pushing COVID numbers. COVID numbers were hectic, but alcohol is up there as
Yeah,
well.
when you actually think about it like that, right? That was a
COVID,
pandemic.
Yeah, that was a pandemic.
That came in your face.
And this is something we live with. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I just want us to discuss like the crazy things that youth are doing now to get a high, because you find that is the obsession that we have, right? Like people just want to chase a high.
Oh yeah.
And it gets extreme. Like we don't talk as much about why people feel the need to push this so extremely. There used to be something called the hanging game. Now I don't know if you
What's
knew
that?
about it. So the hanging game, first of all, I don't know why it's called a game at all, because
Okay.
there's nothing gamey about it. So they'd use like maybe a necktie or whatever it is that they feel is not that strong. Before I say too much, then people start looking for those things in their house. But the thinking was you hang yourself, and just when you're about to pass out, you should be able to untie yourself. And they said they would faint, and when they wake up, they would feel high. This literally went around. There were kids who died in SA. There were kids who died in, I don't know if it reached home. Maybe, I don't know if
And
it
this
reached,
is
I don't
just
know if it
so
reached
that they
Zambia.
get that high.
Yes, what they were chasing was a high. And so I remember that time when that story started coming out. I was like, what? How does anyone think? So some kids would die because they'll do that in the closet,
There's
and
no
they
one to
wouldn't do it
come.
properly. Or I guess there's no way to do it properly. But you know, they wouldn't be able to untie themselves and they'll die.
Nah, that's no, that's just weird.
I agree.
That's weird.
I agree.
That's
Like it never
scary.
made sense.
And in all honesty, whoever came up with that needs help.
I think the person who came up with that just wanted to kill somebody.
Like, yeah, like you need help. Like
You just wanted
how
to kill
that
somebody.
is even a game is weird. That's not when you actually say the hanging game. The image that came to me was someone hanging by like from a monkey bar with your legs. You get hanging like that, and then maybe you start taking shots.
Ah, okay, so
But
they're like upside down.
no one should do that. Like I'm not endorsing that. Behave yourselves. Find better
Please.
ways of entertaining
Before they
yourselves.
just cut that clip
Yeah.
and say, that's
Behave
the one.
yourselves. That's what came to mind. But after what you said, there are better ways of feeling alive, like trying out new safe experiences. So kids or anyone, grown-ups, whoever, I don't care what age group, just stay away from that behavior, like chasing out. What else are they doing outside hanging
So
themselves?
there's this, I was really debating whether I want to share this.
How sensitive is it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the chance of
Because I know this
tomorrow.
is not an African. This can't be an
You're a
African.
global
I'm
citizen.
hoping this can't be an African problem, because people are dipping tampons in alcohol, and
I'm laughing as if it's funny, but
and wearing
it's
them.
shock. It's laughter for shock. It's not.
I don't know.
Humor.
I don't know how this gets you high. It's
Okay. On the tampon thing, I think I was watching a movie or a series a while back, a long time. I've heard of that happening with other drugs, not alcohol. I won't mention those drugs in case people start
then if it
fishing
works
for
with
ideas.
that, then it can probably work still.
Yeah, but for me, just weird. It's like, how does that work? But sure, people be weird sometimes.
So apparently, from what it kind of looked like, it's like a way that people were trying to hide that they were getting drunk. So like when you go home, they're going to smell it off your breath. So you're doing this so that you feel a certain type of way.
So it's a way of getting away with alcohol abuse without
Yes.
people knowing.
Yes.
Like the way some heroin addicts would jab themselves in places that are not publicly visible.
Okay, we didn't know this information,
Yeah,
but
I was in a DC club when I was in high school. They give you a lot of information. I hope those clubs are still a thing, eh? They give you a lot of information, so you get to see how you can spot abusers and stuff. Scary, though.
yeah, That is scary.
Mm.
So yeah, it clearly like states to me that people are always trying to push the boundaries or extremes, right? Is there any way that like for you in like dealing with locally, like let's bring it home.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any places where you've seen like, okay, I feel like this high is an extreme or what we're chasing is an extreme?
Like something people are doing, eh?
That we normalize because
That
I feel
we
like now alcohol abuse is normalized, not alcohol drinking.
alcohol abuse has
Yeah.
been normalized. I feel like how if you abuse a substance long enough, like alcohol in this case, eh, you're going to get to a point where you get used to that high. So it doesn't do it for you. So you kick it up a notch.
Mm,
So now that's when you start mixing codeine and other soft
mm.
drinks. And that's when you just stop upping the ante until you get a new high. So it stems from that. But things that people are doing in our community, is it just alcohol related or outside alcohol?
I think outside, just chasing highs in general, extremes.
I would say controversy.
Mm-hmm.
People are chasing controversy as a high. As much as it
I knew you were going to
seems,
go here. You have a weird explanation.
no, for me it makes sense. I know
Mm-hmm.
it's weird, but
Mm-hmm.
it's making so much sense. Like, you have you ever gossiped,
Mm-hmm.
like juicy, tasty gossip?
Mm-hmm.
You have, eh?
Mm-hmm.
When you receive it, instinctively the body just wants you to take it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now imagine that on a million scale, like a scale of a million people you can gossip with. So instead of just telling me the story outright, like A and so did this, so that you can get your likes, you can get your comments, you can get your retweets, your reposts, you can get all that. You're going to tell me half a story so that now that high, when that interaction with your page, because half of our social interactions are online now. So
Mm-hmm.
just to get that high, I'll be controversial. And when people are interacting with me, my brain is giving me what a
But also,
substance
like,
would give me.
from what you're saying, it's one of the reasons I had to stop. Like, you know, when you find yourself like giving yourself a social media diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
From a consumer perspective, one of the things I think we don't take into consideration is that high that you're chasing. So let's say you find a post of a popular artist, right? And you think, you know, there's always that comment in the comment section saying, the comment you're looking for, why don't you just type it, right? So
Mm.
maybe this person, everyone's like, oh, wow, you look good, but you're thinking, hey, this looks off. You wait for that comment. It's like it feeds you
Yes.
to see that that negativity is there.
Yes.
And you keep feeding off of it. And I started realizing that social media can very easily make you just a toxic person. Because I'm like, why am I here looking at people saying negative comments about someone? Why should that even be a thing? So I'm
Yeah.
like, with that being said, I feel in general, why is it that we feel comfortable chasing things that could ultimately kill us, right? This the statistics that were here on
Mm.
alcohol rates that are in your blood. So basically, they say when your blood alcohol concentration reaches a level of 0.4, right, you can die if you
Yeah.
consume that in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So we reach a point where like, yo, shots on shots, what? Let's get drunk. We're mixing
I used
alcohol.
to be that
Mm,
person. I used to be.
it's a vibe. I also used to be that
I
person.
used to
So
line them
I
up
hear,
actually. I would be like, when you bring the first round,
make sure
make sure the next one is
is,
like just line them up, and
mm,
then I'll break it out for like 30 more minutes, then I'll
mm-hmm.
do that again. I wouldn't say I was comfortable doing it. For me, it came with the okay. I was young, but it also just came with like the freedom of knowing I can do this, and no one is
What felt
here.
like a flex,
Yes,
a money flex.
yes. It really hyped me up, especially if I'm doing it like with people that saw me grow up, like my brothers and my cousins. You
Mm-hmm.
get, if I'm doing it with them, it just gives me a sense of welcoming, like I've arrived. So even joining into these highs, like chasing the high, you abusing alcohol to a certain extent, it comes from that. Like if you really were to just have that mirror conversation, you'd come to the point as like, I'm actually just doing this to fit in.
There is a couple of people with it. I hear you're fitting in, but also I think the society that we live in is we're a numbing generation. So
Mm.
we have so many things that are like feeding us, so many toxic things. One of
Yeah.
them, like you've described, is social media. So many things that are the basis of how we value our lives. We shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
So because social media never existed before, well, at least people were not exposed to it like they are now, even when it started existing, because now everything's a competition. Your life is not even about you anymore. It's about what other people are seeing.
Yeah.
You know, it's about
It's
who
what you
else
can
you're.
show us.
Yes. So now you're getting drunk just because you want to show this lifestyle.
But this is what you do.
And now, even when you have pain, now you don't learn how to deal with it like a normal human being, because everything is for show. So you numb yourself.
Exactly. So you start using alcohol to cope with whatever you're going through. Like if you're watching your social media feed and the person you grew up with, like you guys probably traded this person doesn't have a diaper and your mother went to their mother and got the diaper. That person is now living the life. Like when you see them on their socials, they're in Dubai. And it puts your mind in a certain funk. Instead of you addressing that, you find a way of quieting the noise, like just putting it on mute so that you don't see. So what you do, you get drunk. And my mother used to say, like she heads from somewhere. I heard it from her, but she said it wasn't hers. She used to say, those people that drink to drown their sorrow should know that sorrows swim. So like eventually you're going to sober up, and when you wake up, turn on your phone, the very thing you were trying to silence, back again, loud. So as much as you're going to use it to cope, as much as you're going to chase the next high to cope with whatever you're running from, it's catching up. Like it jumps on the same bus you jump on. So if the bus is alcohol, trust me, it's right behind you. If the bus is the tampon where it's soaked in something it shouldn't be, it's right behind you. Like once
that sounds like a strange bus.
Yeah, but basically you can't cope with the high. That's how I would say. Just like face it, and easier said than done. Like I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think one thing that people need to actually actively think of is the fact that if you are using alcohol as a way to cope, if you numb yourself, if every time you have pain you can't process pain, that's not a normal thing. That's not the way your body was designed. You were not designed as a human being to feel something and consistently numb yourself, because one day, like you say, everything swims and it just refuses to drown anymore. It's like, no, you're going to pay attention. There's a quote that always used to go around saying, the thing about pain is it demands to be felt.
Yes.
And for me, one thing about getting sober, I think one of the hardest things was, now I was just like, it's almost like your brain is readjusting.
Yeah.
Because now the pain hits you and you're like, okay, I can't reach for a drink.
So it comes back now.
So yeah, now it's like you're trying to relearn how to
function,
which should just be your normal function.
It's
like
it's something like I like to look at it from an angle where if you have an issue and you don't know you have an issue, once that is apparent and you start ignoring the issue, it's you that's the problem now. So like as much as you're using these vices, alcohol and whatever you might think of, the social media trend or whatever it is, to run away from your issue, it's you the issue now. Like that issue has actually done its work now. It can even take a break. But once you address the issue, like acknowledge it, it's a thing that's there and it's there as long as you do not fix it. So address it, and it doesn't end there. It's just now the beginning of working it out. It gets to a point where, like, for me, it got to a point personally where I would actually take 2 beers and I would be like, this is enough. Like I don't need more. Not because I can't afford more or I don't. It's just that, yeah, whatever I wanted to quiet down, this won't fix. I'm tipsy. I'm good. I'm fine like this. Or I'll drink from home. Or I won't even drink. I can talk to this person about this issue. But your issue with your boss, you treat it with an alcoholic beverage. Not the way to go.
I find it interesting that you actually have to explain that there's a point when 2 beers was normal. You know that people, especially having drunk, like there are people who are literally like, oh, you can just have 2 beers?
I was like that. For me, I was with a group of people, but when it got to a point where I would be like, I say, 1-1, Jay. I'll be like, let's go 1-1.
That's the biggest lie.
So eventually I told them, I was like, you know what? Alcohol math, 1-1 means at least a 6-pack for me and 1 for you. That's 1 6-pack each. Yeah, and you keep seeing this now. I think most people know this, but
Mm.
one is just an invitation to go. Let's go get drunk. But personally, I say drink, but in moderation. And if you're drinking because you're upset, stop drinking. If you're drinking because you're celebrating, know the limit. Like just know when to say I'm done. Like I'll finish this bottle of whiskey next week. It's fine.
Mm.
Do not overdo it.
Mm.
My rule is if I'm drunk and I can't stand up myself and walk and function, I'm too drunk. Like that's over. It's over for me.
What is the math after you figure out you're too drunk? And then?
It comes now.
No, as in now that you know you're
Yeah,
drunk, what
now.
do you do? How do you handle yourself with that information?
Oh, so
What
it
does that?
depends. Like if let's say I'm drinking outside, like I'm somewhere. If I'm driving, it's over for me if I'm alone. Like I'm probably sleeping in my car, sadly. But if I'm with someone and they drive, they are driving me home. And I have to if I'm actually driving, I make it a point not to even drink as much or drink at all. Like I'll just be in the background, enjoying the vibes. But if I want to go and drink, I'm drunk, I'm not at home. I'm probably crashing wherever I am if it's safe. And if it's not, my brother, I'm calling my brother. And this has happened on a number of occasions. A while back, I took a substance. I flipped my world upside down. I called him. He says I called him 3 times. I remember calling him twice. And the three
It's
times,
okay. It's not that far off.
the three, the 3 times I called him, he says I sent him back twice.
Oh, you told
So he came, got there, and I told him to go back. I'm fine. It's okay. He comes back. He's like, I'm fine. It's okay. So and this boy is patient. Like, kapampa, you know, kapampa. This boy is patient like that. So the third time he comes, and I'm like, my guy, let's just go. And I get there, everything upside down. After that, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm not built
I
for this.
really want to know which substance you took, but I
Oh,
shall ask
they
later.
might learn a few things. Leave them alone.
Yeah,
They
truth.
know enough.
Truth.
They know way too much.
Okay, so before I go into numbers and impact, I also want to share my personal take is team sober. Just don't drink.
Yes.
I know I'm going to be alone. I'm getting side-eyed, even from behind the camera.
No, please
Listen,
join her.
just
I
don't
advocate.
drink.
The more of you move,
Don't drink.
the
The
more
more
for
alcohol
us.
for you. Listen, this is I got a very beautiful explanation from the pastor when I used to go to Miracle Life. He said, how many times are you going to calculate how much of something you should do so that it doesn't become a bad thing? He's like, why are you with something to start calculating, okay, when I reach this point, it's going to become bad.
Yeah.
So already you're doing that
If you
dance.
even have to do the math, don't do it.
If you're doing that dance, then is it for you or is it against you?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll do this campaign later. Team Water, call me. Team, I want to learn how to just drink water. And Mazoe, let's talk.
This is really
After
good.
this
Team
episode.
Water.
Yeah, as you can see. So lastly, I want us to go into some numbers.
Okay.
And impact. So I actually want to just talk about the numbers that I had already discussed, which is the 3 million deaths, right?
Yeah.
And this impact, because we're having with that 12 to 20 now, looking at this is 39.7% of young people, right?
Yeah.
This is a very young part of the young people, especially because we're starting from 12. Now imagining them starting to engage in alcohol, because a lot of people
That's future generation. Yeah. That's the future.
So we start now looking at what happens with like academic performance, what happens with your
Finances.
potential. Now, yeah, what happens with your potential workforce when even in a country like ours, predominantly we are very young people.
Yeah.
But also we are very young people. A large group of them are very passionate about drinking. And there is a way that they're passionate about drinking it, right? So also resources with regards to rehabilitation. There's a lot of rehabilitation centers, but as much as we know that there are some where someone will choose to go to, like there's Chainama, there's Great North Road, there's Sanity House which a friend of mine owns, Daniel in Bazima. At least people are going here by choice. There are those which people are being forced into because they're telling you now your liver is too destroyed, right? So now you have to be rehabilitated or you're going to die.
Yeah.
I think for one, because one of the topics we were starting off camera was I was talking about why I hate alcohol, right?
Yeah, I remember.
No, I think you asked, but I don't know if I answered. But one of the hates that I have for alcohol stems from watching people die.
Yeah.
Watching people die from liver failure, watching people die because they got drunk.
No,
and I saw you 10 minutes ago and you left drunk and you rammed your car into a wall.
and then
That is my personal hate for it. But even economically, like a culture which is a drunken culture, there
there's
is no benefit from
very
it.
little productivity. And I also have a strong hate for alcohol, the abuse of it, especially because I have seen it ruin people financially. I have seen it derail people academically. It can mess you up. Like try it. It's going to
Try it,
win.
don't try it. But it's just
It's
like
going to win. Like that's a
yeah.
losing battle. Whichever way you flip it, it's going to win. So you need to find basically you need to find a way to control that. And in an economic aspect, it's going to slow down a lot of things. Our graduates are going to start slumping. Like very few people start graduating. People go into debt. Businesses will come to a halt because validia capital. And the only thing that will be growing are breweries. And who wants that to be the
Who
thing?
wants that to be the main
Who
thing
wants
that's
that to be the
blossoming?
thing you're known for? So the economic impact is massive, and work begins to affect it. People lose jobs, homes are lost because payments are not being made on mortgages and stuff. Rent is not being paid, they kick you out. It's there is no end. The list is endless, and there is no upside. It's a serious issue, and you need to slow down so that you can stop. Just
So
get there, my guy, my girl. Finish it. It's not worth it.
finish it. He doesn't mean the alcohol.
Don't finish the alcohol. Finish the drinking. Stop drinking.
So basically, young people, our sign out. I'm going to sign out first, and you can go ahead. I just want to say that just take control of what you're doing, because you literally do only live once, and all these highs that we chase do have long-term effects. But other than sounding like a big person telling you don't drink, don't drink, don't drink, is the alcohol abuse that your body is enduring now because you're young is going to possibly lead to a lot of things, liver failure, all that. That's a very painful way to go down and die. So also learn to process your emotions and not use alcohol. If no one told you before, stress, the answer to stress is not a bottle of alcohol. You can actually process it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. My advice, take it if you will, is I drink. I have drunk. I have been drunk. My advice is don't drink. Like, there's no point. You're not missing anything. And if they tell you you are, it's because they do not want to die alone. So misery loves company. So please follow. So don't drink. And if you do, learn your limits. Like let that be the first thing you learn before you learn the price of your favorite alcohol. Learn your limit, because if you do not, you're going to face things in your life that only God can come and fish you out. No one. No self-help book, no motivational speaker, no amount of money. You're in trouble.
It's the strength of the ship.
Because it hurts.
I don't know if you're thinking about someone personal, but
No,
anyway.
it hurts. But you get the point,
Yeah.
basically. You get the point. Don't drink. And if you do, learn the limit. And once you learn it, stick to it. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, please never drink and drive. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us on episode 6. And we hope to see the Royal Hood again next week, same time, same
See you
place.
soon. Subscribe, eh?